Hello, everybody. Thank you and welcome to this episode of Cuéntame by Kontavi. This is a series where we have the opportunity to highlight and put a spotlight on the members that we have at Kontavi. So as a reminder, just to share with you a little bit about the Kontavi Alliance, is that we are an international alliance of accounting professionals with members in over 12 countries. And our purpose is to lead, connect, and accelerate the adoption of cloud accounting across the Americas by creating an engaged, globally recognized Latino and Latina community. And today I have a special guest, one of our members from Maryland here in the US. And just a little bit about her. She is the founder of Liquid Cents Bookkeeping. And Andrea can help simplify your cloud bookkeeping process and show you what personalized attention, care for your numbers can do for you. So I'm very excited to invite our special guest, Andrea. Are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me good?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Cuéntame by Kontavi. How are things on the East Coast?
They are getting cold.
Yeah.
This morning it felt like about 20 something degrees, but
Wow.
it's it's good. Things are getting better.
Excellent. So I always like to start off, the series with learning more about you, and I think that just like most superheroes, we all have our origin stories. So, how did you become this awesome cloud bookkeeper, number cruncher extraordinaire? Tell us about yourself.
Thank you for that introduction and thank you for having me here. Thank you for everybody that's watching. Um, I think my origin story, when I was thinking about this, I can't take out my dad out of the picture. Ever since I was little, well, ever since before I was even born, my dad has been a business owner doing all kinds of things back in the day when we lived in Ecuador. And then when we moved here to Florida, he was also a business owner. But as you probably can imagine, there's, the way that we were handling things back there and the way that we handle things over here. And I was able to witness how he dealt with everything, never really thinking that I was going to do that in the future. In fact, my husband would always tell me, like, you should do something, you should have your own thing, and this and that. And, you know, and I was always like, nope, I'm just not going to do that. So, finally, as we were planning, uh, kind of like dreaming for our future, now that we have two kids, and you kind of like the typical story of what do we want for our future? I want to be my own boss, not in terms of business or work, but mostly our life. Like we were really talking about building and orchestrating, to call it a fancy word, our own life and our own future. And for our kids, they're still little, they're 4 and 1. And we decided that part of that was me not working for, in a job, but having my own thing. And one day, one of our friends were here from Florida visiting, and he was telling me, "Oh, I have been thinking about doing bookkeeping. I hear that there is a lot of, opportunities in there." And I was like, "What? Bookkeeping? Let me think about this," because I kind of worked with, I worked with QuickBooks before for an office. It was a nonprofit, so I kind of know what that, the technicalities of it, and I was pretty good at it. So let me look into it. And I took a really deep, thorough course. I think it's one of the best ones out there for you for to teach you all about it. I did it, and then I said, I'm really liking this. I'm really liking this, not only because I can do it, and nobody wants to feel like you suck at what you're doing. You want to feel happy with what you're doing, but also because I was thinking in the future I would be able to help business owners, kind of like bringing me back to my dad. And if he would have had somebody like me, now that could help him with all of those things, that would make me really happy. that I know at the end of the day that I'm helping and I'm contributing to small businesses. So we went with it. I had long nights of studying and, running numbers and reconciling and all of those things that you guys know or don't know about. But that's how it all started, kind of like thinking and dreaming ahead. Out of a coincidence, somebody told me about it and I just went with it.
Excellent. So thanks for giving that background. I think it's great. And you have a story that a lot of folks that can relate to. You grew up in an environment of entrepreneurship. You saw your father, and then looking back, you're like, wow, if my father or my family had this type of advisor or someone that was really in the weeds on their books and not just telling them how much is due and how much they have to pay and when it's due, taking more of that advisor role, if you will. I think you're realizing that value and maybe what could have been.
Yeah, exactly. It really does make a difference when you have somebody, whether it's through a screen, especially now the world's shifting to this world, but somebody that really cares, whether, you go to their office or you jump on a Zoom call or something, that knowing that the person really cares, and it sounds just like a cliche, but it makes a huge difference when the other person does want the best for you.
Right. Excellent. And I also like the fact that you mentioned it was something that you considered and you found a course, a bookkeeping course that, can help you understand the principles and not just jump right into it. I think too many times people are like, well, let me just jump in and let me work on somebody's books and see if I like it. But you actually hold a number of certifications. I see that, from your website, you've got your certificate in bookkeeping, you're a QBO certified advisor, as well as a Xero certified advisor. So how does this extra education or course or certifications help you in daily operations and helping your clients?
So the way that I see it is kind of like two ways. You have the bookkeeping knowledge, but then now that we're all shifting to cloud, and that's all I do cloud, I have to know how the software works. And that's where the other certifications come in. So not only I'm able to, do the basics, but since I have those certificates that show that I went to their own training, then I can kind of like go a little bit deeper and work things around to make things easier and clear. Ultimately the goal is obviously to have your numbers be clear, everything 100% accurate, everything honestly and, put in straight, but also in a way that it makes sense to the business owner. For example, one of the benefits is presenting reports. When was the last time that you looked at one of your reports, like a financial report, like a profit and loss or income statement or balance sheet or statement of cash flows, and you really had no idea what it was saying? And then another person comes in, a bookkeeping professional or your accountant or your CPA, and they kind of like move things around and they walk you through it and they explain things to you. So I think that other benefit, those other certifications, just kind of like help me be better and more well-rounded and a better, I like to say that I'm like an ally for you and for your numbers because I'm on your team. So that makes me be a better part of your team, have those certifications.
Right. No, I think that's very well said. If you're able to distinguish the actual that have the background in account in bookkeeping, and the certification, the software show you how to use the software, doesn't necessarily solve for bookkeeping basics or best practices. And I think it can be a critical mistake for someone that wants to get into bookkeeping to solely go out and get a certification in one of the softwares and all of a sudden they're a bookkeeper. And I've seen it happen where I think there's a misconception in the industry where it's just like you could be doing tax and then you take a bookkeeping course and the next morning you're a bookkeeper. And I think there's more to it. You have to actually apply the theory, just like most things, the theory of what you're learning into actually working with clients. And for someone to like I said, wake up in the morning after taking a course and all of a sudden they're a bookkeeper, I think there's much more than that. And I think you would agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I like to say, and I'm sure I'm not the only one or first one that has said it. The bookkeeping is not really rocket science. I'm not, changing, rocket science. I don't know another term to call it, but you do have to know what you're doing. There is more than just inputting numbers in the computer. Bookkeeping is way more than that. And I think that's another misconception out there, that bookkeeping is just, oh, you pay $700 for something and I'm going to input $700 and then I can go to sleep and you'll pay me for that. No, that's not it. And if that's what your bookkeeper is doing, you can tell them to up their game.
Sure.
Because it's more than that. It's more than that. And that's, like you're saying, the benefit of not only knowing the bookkeeping principles and all of that knowledge, but also the software.
That's right. So what are some of the services that well, first, let me take a step back. How'd you come up with the name Liquid Cents Bookkeeping?
Oh my gosh, getting a name for my business was driving me nuts. I didn't know what to call it. I was thinking of so many things. And one day I was like, I give up. I don't know what to call it. I asked my husband for help. And I actually think it was him that told me the name. And I was like, okay, I like it. And I'm not going to change my mind. And that was it. I think 2 days later, I spoke to my lawyer to get all the paperwork ready. And I was overthinking it and for a whole week, but it is what it is. So
got it.
Yeah.
Great. So that's your story and how you come up with the name. So kudos to your husband for coming through and the creativity there. Yeah, no, I like it. I think the website is great and the design is good. So what are the services that you provide for small businesses?
So obviously first and foremost is monthly bookkeeping. All your transactions should be tracked. So that is the monthly services. All my monthly clients will get basically unlimited email support. Whatever question you have or anything that's going on, we can talk about it all month, all throughout the month. And on top of that, at the end of the month, I can provide you with your monthly statements, the 3 basic ones, but also if there's anything else that has to happen in your business, like different reports, I can do that. I'm kind of starting to offer accounts receivable so that I can help you track your open invoices, although I haven't really listed as a service in my website. I'm also a Gusto partner, so I can help you with your payroll needs, but I like to link you first with them so that you can have a personalized introduction with them and they walk you through everything so that you know who they are, because they're a great company. And that, in the beginning, for now, I'm just focusing on bookkeeping and cleanups and catch-ups. So I guess it's more than that. So cleanups, if you have, for example, your books, you haven't even taken care of them at all, or you have them in paper, like in a notebook, or if you have spreadsheets and you want to bring all of that information into QuickBooks Online or Xero, then I can do that. That's called a catch-up. Or cleanup, if you already have your books in Xero or QuickBooks and they're kind of not really put together the right way, then I can fix that for you. So that's called a cleanup.
So someone can reach out and say, look, I thought I could do this, and it's December 23rd. I need to fix this before the end of the year. That's called a cleanup. Well, I mean, I think this is something, it's common, right? It exists. I think oftentimes there's an internal struggle as a small business, especially when you're starting out, when you're bootstrapping your business, and every cent counts. So when you think of, do I need to hire a bookkeeper? When do I do it? And am I really going to see a return on this? I think sometimes businesses might realize in January that they needed to clean up, or maybe some small businesses are thinking about that right now. Look, it's 2020, hashtag 2020, it is what it is, but I want to
Yeah.
start fresh in 2021 with my books. What's the best approach that a small business should take in working with you, and how do you work with your clients to do new ones to do that cleanup?
Yeah. So it depends on where you are right now. The first thing that I like to do is before even I give you a proposal, I like to go and take a look at your books and how they are right now. There's never really a one size fits all. I'm totally against that. So I am kind of like, I don't want to tell you one thing and then somebody comes and it turns out to be something different. If you don't have that many transactions, we could take one route. If you have a gazillion transactions, then we could maybe take another route. Since we're so close to the end of the year, maybe we can kind of start from scratch next year. If you just started this year, you're new entrepreneur that you started your business this year, maybe we can combine. So I can't tell you exactly what we would do. What I like to do is I like to do it personalized. That's
Sure.
my thing. So I'm kind of like hesitant to say, this is the route.
Yeah. Well, I think there's no one size fits all when you're working with clients, because every business is going to be different. But I think the approach, if you take it from, uh, the client shouldn't feel like embarrassed, sin vergüenza, right? They should come to you and like, look,
Right.
I thought I could do it, I couldn't, please help. And even though you're going to be looking through like their most sensitive information, it's like, look, no matter what you've done this year or how they've come to find you, you can help them, right? Regardless
Absolutely.
of how badly they messed up. Maybe they coded everything into entertainment, or they have all kinds of things, or they created chart of accounts for like a number of different services, and cleaning that up. So that's the type of service you can provide in terms of, one, cleaning them up and setting them on the right path going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes
Excellent.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you mentioned you offer bookkeeping services. You mentioned payroll, that you're working with Gusto at the moment. How about tax? Do you do tax for any clients? And
No.
okay, great,
No, I
great.
don't do tax, but I do a few, or should say a good amount of people that can help you. So if you're looking for somebody that needs help with taxes, I'm happy to refer you to somebody.
Excellent. And I think that is a great answer, that either you offer the service or you don't, and clearly you don't. And that's okay. I think, where when someone's starting out or when someone's running their firm, and they're not necessarily, because it could be the other way around. They could be focused on tax and don't do bookkeeping,
Right.
but they might make an attempt. But if the expertise isn't there, then it's almost better to refer it out to a colleague of yours or someone in the industry that you trust your client with. And
Yeah,
I
I
guess
really,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, the
Sorry for
reason
interrupting.
yeah, no, that's okay. I think the reason I'm asking is because I've seen, whether there's individuals or businesses, the challenge of knowing when to hire an accountant and what kind of accountant. And I'm using accountant in general terms, right? Because we know there's tax professionals, bookkeeping specialists, and there's bookkeepers. But it's common that someone's going to refer to an accountant to encompass everything. But the reality is, not every bookkeeper does tax, not every tax professional does bookkeeping and payroll.
Yes, that's right. And I think the main reason why I don't want to get into taxes, especially if I'm the only one, because right now I'm the only person behind Liquid Cents Bookkeeping. I'm doing everything. And I like to, if I'm doing the bookkeeping, I believe, this is my personal opinion, it should be another person that goes over the taxes, just to kind of like have a double check, another layer of checks and balances. Everything needs to be as transparent as it can be. And that's why I personally don't do taxes. Maybe in the future, maybe I can bring somebody in, or something like that. But for now, that is my main reason for that. And you're totally right. Some people, I mean, whenever you're on a social media thread or something, somebody looking for an accountant, I like to ask them, okay, what kind of services you're looking for? Because maybe what
Yes.
they're looking for is taxes, like you said, or maybe they're looking for a cleanup and they don't even know that that's what they're looking for, because when you're not in this side of things, I mean, last year I had no idea what a cleanup was. You tell me a cleanup and I'm thinking clean up the toys for my kids. So there's always the best thing is to reach out. If you kind of have questions about your finances and how things are going, especially at this time of the year, somebody on the social media world or websites, everybody just reach out. Somebody's going to be willing to give you the answer.
That's great. And I can tell a lot about, in just talking to and learning about your business, that if a business reaches out and they're looking for X, Y, and Z services, and if it's something that you cannot help them with, then you're going to be honest with them and refer them out, which is the right thing to do. So, what along those lines, what are the specific industry? Are there specific industries or niches or niche industries that you prefer to work with?
Yes, I do like to work with women that are business owners, specifically that are like in the business of helping other people. So it's kind of like not necessarily one industry. For example, the mental health industry is something that it's very important for me. I have a degree in psychology. I like to read about how our brain works and the relationships between people and how we are the way that we are and all of those things. So that kind of shifted my desire to help people in that field. Or, for example, my client, she's a business coach for women. So it's her desire and her motivation is to help somebody. So that is my kind of like my dream client for those that are, in the business. Who's your dream client? My dream client is a woman who wants to help others. But in the industry kind of things, I like to work with the mental health industry or the coaching industry, business, online businesses, that all fall under the service-based kind of umbrella.
Got it. Excellent. Well, if you are a small business or if you are a woman that is in those industries that Andrea just mentioned, that definitely check out her website at liquidcentsbookkeeping.com and get in touch with her and learn more about what services she can provide. So that's great. So mention the industries. And I think that's important because at the end of the day, you want to enjoy your work, right? So if you know what industries you work with, the type of profile your client, you're going to enjoy it. The connection is going to be there. Relationship is going to be there. And I think a lot of times when bookkeeping firms or tax firms are starting out and they're getting into serving businesses, it's just like they become generalists. Like we'll serve anybody that comes in, whether it's a taqueria, a doctor's office, a landscaping company. It could be a tech startup. And along the way, they're going to learn how to serve each one of those industries. And I do believe that there's a level of expertise required and involved in each one of those industries because they're going to be looking for different things.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You become, like you said, an expert in your field. So that is what I want to do with this. And also, I think that you kind of have to click with the person. You have to be able to enjoy having that conversation because, like I mentioned, part of the things that I offer is that meeting, so the monthly meeting, so that we can go over your numbers. And if you frown every time that you have that meeting with me, I'd rather refer you to somebody else. I want you to have a good time. Talking about numbers, sometimes it's kind of like boring for some people. It's scary. It's embarrassing. Oh my gosh, I'm losing money or whatever whatever the case is. I want the other person, like I want my client to feel comfortable. And one of the biggest values or very important things in my life is giving back and helping others. So that's kind of why I went with that route. Like my big motivation is to help the business owner. So I want to connect with somebody that is on the same way with their clients.
Excellent. Now, you mentioned the monthly meeting, and I think that is a huge value add to the relationship with a small business. So if you're a small business out there and you are not having a monthly meeting with your bookkeeper, You should, because I think if the engagement with the bookkeeper, whoever it is, and if all you're getting is the reports emailed to you and nothing else, then there's an opportunity to get more value from your bookkeeper or your accounting professional, right? Because in that monthly meeting, I'm sure you're going to explain the reports, maybe kind of give them some homework of it. It looks like these customers are taking too long to pay you. Maybe you should consider not working with that customer anymore because your AR is a challenge right now.
It hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's been the same for the last 3 months. What's going on? And the business owner has so many other moving parts and so many things to worry about. I mean, I get it. I'm a business owner as well. So I understand. And there's things that it's not fair for you to put that kind of like responsibility on your brain to keep track of everything. And that's why there's an app for that kind of thing. There's software that can help you, and there's also a person that can help you, because when you get those reports, I mean, it's not that easy to look at the report and really understand what that really means for you. So that's why I think those meetings are so important.
Right. And it also serves as an accountability check-in, right? Because if the business owner is setting goals, or there's different milestones that they're looking to get to the next phase of their growth, and you're highly involved in their business and not just transactionally giving them reports, there's more involved, then it's almost like a coaching session. It's advice, and it's really accountable, because they know that if they didn't do the things that they need to do or tweak the things that you asked them to do in order to make their business financially healthier, then you're gonna be there looking them in the eye the next month, right? So monthly meeting after meeting, you become a sort of a accountability partner.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it.
Awesome. And also, I heard you mention giving back, and taking a look at your website, Andrea, I saw that there's your donating proceeds from services provided to causes. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did. So for example, last month, I met this wonderful lady through one of those networking groups. She was telling me about the devastation that happened in Honduras, and she has like a nonprofit, or kind of like a ministry connected with a church over there to help the local community. So that's what I decided to do last month. The 10% of the revenue went for that, to help that specific thing. So I like to, everything that I do every month, give a portion to something, that's either contributing specifically to women, because I'm a woman, because I believe, that when we come together, there's power. We can do so many things when we come together. So I like to contribute to that, to those organizations or nonprofits, or, anything that's going towards helping families or women. And another initiative that I like to contribute to is anything that has to do with earth, going green and doing a cleanup over here, or anything that has to do with helping the earth to be better for us, for our future, then I like to contribute to that as well.
That's great. It's great to listen to why that's important to you, and know that your firm is a outward facing firm, right? So you're looking, not only are you providing your clients with services, but when opportunities present themselves to contribute or give back to those causes that you're passionate about, you're doing that through your business. So I think having an impact business like that is great.
Thank you so much. And honestly, if anybody that's watching, or that you guys watch later, if this is you, like you are running something that is helping somebody else, or of something, I would love to for you to let me know, put it in the comments or email me or something. I like to kind of showcase you on Facebook too. There's you can see it in my Facebook, but I like to kind of share about these kinds of groups too, so that they can get more visibility as well.
Excellent. That's great. So you just heard her reference her website. So you can visit liquidcentsbookkeeping.com to learn more about Andrea's business and the causes that she's passionate about, and also get in contact with her. And I think you could tell from this interview that she is going to be genuine in meeting with you and seeing, how she can help you in your business. So, Andrea, since we are approaching the end of the year, any tips that you would give a small business as we're approaching the last 16 days or so of the year, and there might be 16 or so days left before the year, but we know that things tend to slow down as Christmas comes up, and families are virtually gathering together, so there's things are different this year. But what are some things that a business could do now to kind of prepare for year end before it's too late, right? Because when the clock strikes 12 and it becomes January 1st, there are certain things that you can no longer do for 2020 purposes.
Right. I think the first thing that we should do is kind of like take a step back and take a deep breath and just tell yourself that things are going to be okay. Because sometimes as business owners, we're freaking out. All the things happen at the same time, the same day, whether it's with business or your family or whatever it is. So the first thing is kind of like take care of yourself. Tell yourself you made it. We're almost at the end of the year. You made it. Good job. And then kind of like create a checklist for yourself, or if you're working already with an accountant or a bookkeeper or something, somebody professional in that field, try to have a list of something that can help you gather what you need for your industry. For example, your bank statements. If you don't have an app or something that can help you pull them, like HubDoc, for example, that's what I like to use. Start implementing those things little by little. The more automation that you can implement, the more time you're going to have for the result kind of phase. Like, for example, the meetings that I was talking to you about that I meet with my clients, we can focus more on that because other areas that are the more manual kind of things have been automated. So maybe this is your time to start thinking about automation. Get something that can help you pull your bank statements. Receipts, that's like a nightmare for everybody. Nobody likes to keep track of receipts. Everybody loses them. You trash them the second you got it and then you forgot. So try to get all of those paper, like documents together. Your loans, gather all of that. And the last thing I would tell you, because I don't want to bombard you with information, is find somebody that you trust and work with them. I know that it feels iffy to bring somebody in because they're going to look at your stuff and all of that. So find somebody that you feel comfortable with, whether it's somebody remote, whether it's somebody in person, locally to you. Find somebody that you feel comfortable, because this is important. The day is going to come when you're going to have to file your taxes, and you don't want to be worrying about it the day before. If you come to me, I'm probably not going to be able to do your 2020, bookkeeping in a night. So, reach out for somebody that can help you. Don't freak out, but start gathering all of your documents, everything that comes to your business.
Sure, I think that's sound advice, and I can tell you have that psychology background, because the first thing you said is take a breath and give yourself some recognition. You made it through the year. I'm sure there were times as a small business owner this year you're like, I don't know how we're going to make it, or what's next, especially if the business had employees, and there's definitely lots of things that this year in terms of programs with PPP or EIDL loans and how that's going to affect them from a tax perspective going in to close out the year. So I think first, taking that breath, I think is great advice for anybody to say, look, made it through 2020, looking forward to next year, but now let me start to organize myself. Let me find all those receipts, I'll track all my income expenses that I had, so that I'm prepared to work with a bookkeeping professional like yourself going into the new year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that we have to give ourselves credit. Sometimes we say we have to give credit where credit is due, and that usually we think about it for other people. but hey, you're here, you made it, like I was saying. So I think that's why it's important. I think that changes your approach to things, looking at those statements, or looking for that receipt that you lost, or getting your loan statements, or whatever it is that you have with your business. I think it ends up being a little bit of a more pleasant um experience, although I know it's not fun to go and get that, but it's a little bit more pleasant when you come from a standpoint of, I did it, I'm good, my numbers might not be so good, but I'm still here, instead of, oh my gosh, this year sucks, everything sucks. So I think that's important.
Absolutely. And I think maybe you may have some advice for those, but maybe 2020 was great. Like they were financially blessed. And so if someone was, how can they contribute, before the year end, right? So I guess what I'm alluding to is if you had an awesome year and there's causes that you care about, make sure that you contribute, donate, support the causes before December 31st, so that way, that goes into 2020.
Definitely, that's true. And also, this is kind of like a side note because, well, I guess some people, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, um, something that I started doing a little bit like more intentional, and this is on my personal side, is shopping from other small businesses. So whether, for example, in your business, you have to buy whatever it is between now and the end of the year, don't buy it from a humongous business, although, they're great, but small businesses is where that, because you and I are one. So,
Yes.
also think about that. I like to think that as another way of contributing. I saw, I don't know if it was a meme or what it was, that when you buy from a small business, a real person like makes a happy dance behind the other side of the screen. And I like to think that, like for Christmas, that's all that we did this year. Um, so yeah, that's another way of contributing in a way. If you have to make an expense, do it from a small business.
That is fantastic advice. Thank you for that, Andrea. I think, yes, definitely support small businesses this year, especially during the holiday season, as you're shopping for gifts or services or gift cards. You can get gift cards from small businesses as well, to gift to your loved ones if you can't travel to see them this year for reasons that
Yeah.
are obvious. But I think that is great advice. So I definitely enjoyed the time here with you, Andrea, and getting to know more about your business and Liquid Cents Bookkeeping. And you can see the ticker at the bottom, liquidcentsbookkeeping.com. If you're interested in getting in contact with Andrea, you can please visit her website. And she's also creating content that's online. I see it on LinkedIn, and tips and advice for small businesses. So please continue to connect with her online. And any last words, Andrea, before we close?
All I can tell you is you can do it. No, but in all seriousness, like I was telling you, bookkeeping is not rocket science. But once you hire somebody else, don't expect that person to just kind of like take control. That is one of another, I guess, misconception of the feel like, okay, I hired somebody, now I don't have to do anything. I like to, like, kind of the way that I promote my services is I want to help women that want to stay connected to their numbers. The end goal of bookkeeping is not for you to be disconnected from your numbers and just let somebody else worry about the transactions. The main goal is for you to stay even more connected in a way that you can benefit. My main goal is for you to grow, for you to understand your numbers, for you to make better financial decisions because of those numbers. So that is kind of like the end thing. When you understand your numbers, you can make better decisions and have a better future because of that.
Excellent. That is sound advice. Thank you so much, Andrea. So thank you for joining us here today. And you can just hold on the line there for a moment as we close. So today we had the awesome opportunity to learn a little bit more about Andrea Rotondo, how she got started in her bookkeeping practice, the value that she put in certifications and getting the credentials that she needed in order to launch her business. So if you are a nonprofit, if you are a women-owned business, small business looking to connect with someone like Andrea, please visit her on her website at liquidcentsbookkeeping.com. I also wanted to remind you that we are continuing our series with Kontavi in the series called Cuéntame by Kontavi, where we are highlighting accounting professionals in the industry across the Americas. So Kontavi Alliance is an association of accounting firms. So if you are interested in looking for an accountant that might have specialties in other markets, like let's say Mexico or Ecuador or in Argentina, you're welcome to visit our website, which is kontavialliance.com. And under members, you can find an accounting professional that might have expertise in a certain industry. As Andrea mentioned, she does bookkeeping, she does payroll services, but you might be looking for someone that does tax and someone familiar with e-commerce in Mexico. So we do have those resources available on our website at kontavialliance.com. And under our member directory, you can find other professionals like Andrea. So thanks again for joining us on this edition of Cuéntame by Kontavi. And we will continue highlighting the awesome stories and the great work that our members are doing in the accounting industry and for small businesses across the Americas. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.